on DoraHacks. And each of you will have 12 minutes to briefly introduce your project and see if there's any question coming from the community. And we'd love to involve you to answer some of the community questions. Yeah. So, hey guys, this is Steve from DoraHacks. Very happy to host today's live stream session. We have just announced the 15 finalists for Dora Grant DAO round 1. And actually, the 15 teams will compete for the grant opportunity from Dora Grant DAO. We're actually giving out 600K grants to the best teams in Dora Grant DAO. And so as a community member, I want to briefly show you how the grant process works and how you can vote for them with VC Dora token. So let me share my screen here. Yeah. So the voting is going to start from November 5th, which is today, to November 13th, which is in 9 days. And how it works is that we're using VC Dora token to vote. What is VC Dora? I'll explain to you later. And each vote is, I think, is 0.1 VC Dora token. And the prizes, which is 600K, will be given in the order of community voting results. And what is VC Dora is that how to get VC Dora. What is VC Dora? VC Dora is a voice credit Dora. It's basically our governance vote to decide one thing, which are the brilliant teams that we're funding with Dora Grant DAO's treasury. In the first batch, we're giving out 600K to the winning teams. I think in the end, we are able to fund 6 to 10 teams, which means that there's a very large chance that the teams demoing today will be funded, but they will be voted by Dora community. How it works is that for you, a community member, you can stake Dora token to get VC Dora. What you need to do is to go to DAO.DoraHacks.io. This is our governance portal, and you can stake your Dora token there. Basically, at this portal, you can stake however amount of Dora token you have or you want to, and you can stake them for as short as 1 week or as long as 4 years. And basically, the idea is that the more Dora token you stake and the longer you stake, the more VC Dora or the more governance power that you have over Dora Grant DAO. And yeah, this is an example of like staking 50 Dora token for 1 month. You'll get this much VC Dora, which is like 8 votes. And staking fewer Dora token for longer, which is 1 year, you can have similar amount of votes. Yeah. So the voting, how it works is that we just opened up the Dora Grant DAO community voting portal today. So you can go to DoraHacks.io/Dora/1, or you can go to our banner and just click Dora Grant DAO. You can find the voting page. Click vote on the teams that you really like, either in today's presentation or in some other presentation that we have covered or will cover in the near future. This is where you can find a more in-depth introduction to their project. And there's stop. You can use MetaMask to vote. And last thing I want to mention is that we're actually using Macy, which is minimum anti-collusion infrastructure, a very advanced ZK governance tool to vote for the teams, meaning that the teams can't really collude with the community, nor can the community bribe by the team. So the ZK setup for our Macy round is actually done in space. We're working with CryptoSat, who already launched a satellite into space. We're doing the ZK Trust setup there. It's actually really, really cool. It's a hacker community thing, but we're doing a lot of that cool stuff. So one last thing I want to mention is that actually the 15 teams that we got into, that we selected into the 15 finalists are all, I think, some of the best startups in Web3, in the hacker community. Each of them are working on some, some very unique initiatives. Prestare Finance is working on DeFi protocol. CEDE Lab, I know them since July. They're a team based in France. They're trying to aggregate the asset management and tracking services in both CeFi and DeFi. And feed.xyz, I think, is a feed integration where you can collect news and knowledge with each other. So all, I think, pretty cool ideas. So let's see what these amazing teams are up to. And let's welcome Prestare Finance to introduce a little bit about themselves and why they are applying for the grant from Dora Grant DAO. And welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Let me share my screen. Sure. Okay, hi guys, and thank you for having me here. We are Team Prestare, and we are a DeFi lending protocol that offers a lower cultural ratio and can even realize a under-culturalized borrowing. So we know that most protocols on the market, actually, they are over-culturalized. Like Compound or Aave, you can see their cultural ratio here, and you see this over-culturalized ratio helps them to be trustless, but still the over-culturalization is very inefficient in the usage of capital, and some other protocols, they can achieve under-culturalization or zero-culturalization, like TrueFi or Maple Finance. And usually they will cooperate with some other CeFi institutions, but after they fall out of three Arrow Capital or the CLCS this year, we find that actually there is a huge credit risk behind it. So for Prestare, we want to achieve the under-culturalized borrowing, but still in the trustless way. So how can we achieve that? Actually, our idea is quite simple. We just based on the interest payment from our borrowers, and then we allow them to borrow a little bit more in the next time. But for the whole protocol or our whole system, we will make sure the money we can loan out will less than their collateral plus the past earnings we made from those borrowers. So the whole system is still over-culturalized to ensure the solvency, but for the specific person, you can have a lower and lower cultural ratio in the following borrowing activities. So what's the difference between Compound and other over-culturalized protocols and Prestare? Actually, the core difference is the way we deal with the reserve, also the interest payment. And we know most protocols, they will take like 20% of their interest payment as a reserve. Like Compound, they said they will keep this reserve, and it will be like insurance funds, and it will compensate the LPs in the future if there some bad thing happening in the future. But for Prestare, we want to use the reserve now and we want to use it in advance. But we are not just directly give the reserve to our users. Actually, we make a copy and we call them credit token. So like if we have $1 million in our reserve pool, and we will made 1 million credit token, and then we will give the credit token to our borrowers to encourage their borrowing activities in the future. So let me give you an example to show how borrowers interact with our protocol. So if you are new to our protocol and for the first time, you are still over-collateralized and you will have the same collateral ratio as you have on other protocols. But the different thing here is after you pay your loan, and you will get your you will have your credit token, and of course the credit token will depend on the interest payment we generated from your loans. And then with this credit token, you can borrow a little bit more in the next time. And so you can say with this credit token, you can have a lower collateral ratio in the second borrowing. And if you keep borrowing, you will have more credit tokens. So of course, one day you will have enough credit tokens to achieve the under-collateralization. So this is pretty much how our protocol works. And yeah, we still have some risk management system on our credit token. And this formula actually determines how much money you can take out with a certain amount of credit token. So let me give you a very simple example. So if you want to take additional $400 out with $1,000 as collateral, actually you need 500 credit token. So you can say it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. The credit token you need will increases as your loan to value increases. And the second part is we have the redemption scheme for our credit token. So actually our credit token is transferable and tradable. So it will somehow behave like stable coins. So if the price of a credit token on the market below a certain price, of course, there will be upcharge opportunities. So for this situation, of course, we don't want to see this situation happen. So we have the redemption system for our credit token. Users can just use one credit token to exchange like 16 cents out with one credit token. And so this redemption scheme will help us to stabilize the credit token price and protect ourselves from being taken advantage. And as we said, the credit token actually is transferable and tradable. So if a user have a huge amount of credit token, sometimes it doesn't mean they are a honest people actually, but it somehow prove they are repayable, right? So we have another system. We call it credit score system, and we will give our users the soulbound NFT, and the soulbound NFT will not only depend on interest payments we made from them, and it will also depend on their default events. So if you default, it will damage your credit score, and the credit score will not determine your collateral ratio directly. It will influence your credit token and credit token's utility at first. So if you have a higher credit score and you with one credit token, you can take like $1 out. But if you have a lower credit score, one credit token may only help you take like 17 cents out. So it will influence the utility of your credit token, but the credit token is the one which can actually determine your collateral ratio, because the credit token is the only thing we can quantify it, because it has a real capital backed. So this is our credit token and credit score system, and we do have some other promotions on some other aspects, like we have a classification system and risk isolation system to help us to make us become a permissionless listing protocol, and we also have a very interesting internal liquidation. But the most important part is our credit token part. And this is our PRS economics. So it's pretty much like the curve. So we introduce the V token economics from curve, and you can see our revenues here. We will take like 10% of the interest payment as a reserve, as a revenue, and 10% as a credit reserve. So another 10% of the interest payment will made the credit token, and and we will also take like 14% from the credit token redemption and 20% from our credit token on staking fee. So we charge higher from this because we hope users keep their credit token, so we don't want to unstake it or redeem on our platform. Yeah, and it's pretty much like that. And this is our token economics, and this is our team members. So we are from the HKUST Crypto FinTech Lab, and most of us are PhD students and research assistants in this lab. And we all have the rich experience in the DeFi industry. Yeah, and this is our roadmap. We will launch. We plan to launch on the testnet in the end of this year and launch on the mainnet in the next year. And so, yeah, thank you. And then let me show you guys our website, and let me share it again. Yeah, and this is our website, and you can see there is we put some important features on this website. You can see the credit token, the credit score, and how we achieve the permissionless listing. And if you want to know more details about protocol, you can read it from our documentations, and yeah, you can find everything in the documentation. And okay, I think that's it. Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Hey, no, thank you, Prestare team. So let me see. Like, can you share a little bit more on your roadmap? And especially
Sure.
the proposal, is your grant milestone based? What are some of the key milestones for the project while claiming the grant process?
Yeah, sure. Let me share the screen. Yeah, actually, we already finished we finished the proof of concept in the Q2 of this year, and we also finished the core smart contracts, and and we are still in the fundraising phase, and we got a small amount of the token investment in the angel round, and we are still in this angel round. And the milestone, I think maybe we also participate in the DoraHacks. They come. I don't know the name, and the competition is here, and we got a second prize, and this is pretty much like that. Do you want to know anything?
Yeah, where's the team based at the moment?
Yeah, we are based in Hong Kong. Yeah, and we most of us are students from the HKUST, and yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining Dora Grant DAO. Look forward for, I think, DeFi supporters of our community to vote for your project during Dora Grant DAO. Thank you, team.
Thank you.
Got it. And I believe the next one is my good friend Pierre from CEDE Labs. Hi, Pierre.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I think it's 4 months since 3 to 4 months since we last met each other in Paris.
In Paris,
right?
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to know a little bit more about your progress. How's your progress so far? And happy to have this opportunity to engage Dora community to support you on building CEDE Labs. So why don't you give us a brief intro of CEDE Labs? Let me start from there.
Yeah, awesome. First of all, thank you for inviting CD to this live, and yeah, just to present myself rapidly. So I'm from Paris. I have an engineering background in computer science and networks, and I've been building CD for the almost like 2 years now. So let me share my screen.
Please. Yeah, you have 12 minutes.
Yeah, right here. Can you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Please.
Thank you. So at CD, we are building a non-custodial CFI, DeFi tracking and managing tool. So that's a lot of words, but basically it's kind of like a Zappify or a DBank, but with your centralized exchange to it. So you'll be able to track all your on-chain assets, like on Ethereum, BSC, Polygon, etc., but also like on Coinbase, Binance, or FTX. So how are we doing that? Our like major value is that we stay like self-custody. So we'll be able to aggregate CeFi and DeFi while staying non-custodial. So we are doing that with a second product, which is like a browser extension, just like MetaMask for your centralized exchanges. So inside this wallet, you're gonna have like, instead of your blockchain keys, you're gonna have your API keys, like the API keys of your centralized exchanges, and it's gonna be stored on your machine or on a hardware solution. So for the moment, it's gonna be Ledger. So with that, you're gonna be able to store and also to interact with your centralized exchanges. So basically, you will come to our DApp, you will connect to MetaMask, you will connect to our extension, and in only 2 clicks, you'll be able to track and manage all your CeFi and DeFi assets. So here are the products. So the first one is cd.link. And on this one, it's where we aggregate CeFi and DeFi. So on this one, you'll be able to track and manage everything. And so the second product, which sets us apart, is CD Store. So inside that is just like MetaMask, but for your API keys. And here, the idea of the extension is really to keep those DeFi values of non-custodiality. So here you own your API keys and also of UX. So you'll be able to connect to the app just in a click. And also you'll be able to verify the data you sign and also to sign in just a click. So that's the idea. So here's a recap. And so yeah, here you see where we stand in the ecosystem and how we connect everything. And so there's our app. You have all your tools like MetaMask, Phantom, or Tempo. And for the centralized part, you have our extension. So that's all, easy as that. So let me show you a demo, a live demo of the product. Yeah, right here. Perfect. So here is the old version of the dashboard, and then I'm gonna show you like the new one. So here it's our extension. Just like MetaMask, you put the password to login. So here you have different vaults. So what's a vault used for? So for example, when you come to a DApp, if you don't know the DApp, you didn't do like your due diligence, maybe you don't trust it. So maybe you just want them to be able to track your CeFi assets. You don't want them to enable like trade transactions or like withdraw transactions. So a vault is used for that is to manage all your permissions you give to a DApp. For example, you can do a vault for you for tracking, a vault for trading, or a vault for trading. So here, let's go to the test vault. And here, like we are fetching all the data, all the CeFi assets on some test accounts. So here, yeah, just as you would expect on this kind of extension, we can see all your assets. Also those activities, and you can add your centralized exchanges API keys here. You can also do some direct trades here. And you just click everywhere here, and we fetch the data you have, and then we can enable some trade transactions. And so what's interesting here is that we can connect to the extension through the app. So here we just go to the portal, and yeah, like for example here you have MetaMask, but you also have our extension, and you put the password, and just like that you can connect to the app. So right now I can fetch all the data I have on the CeFi part, so it's going to show rapidly. But here the idea is that we keep like a seamless experience between CeFi and DeFi. Like we're going to show a centralized exchange just like we show a blockchain. For example, on the blockchain you have all your protocols, but you also have your wallet. And same on the centralized exchange. You have all the services you use, but also all the balances in your wallet. So just like that, we've shown like some centralized exchanges and some blockchains in the same way. And here, for example, I'm going to show the swap. And here it's a classic swap, but here you also have like your centralized exchanges. So here it's Coinbase Pro. I have some AVAX, so let's trade some. I click on swap, and then I have a pop-up. So that's what I said about the experience. It's like the same experience as MetaMask. So here you have a pop-up. You can check all the data you sign, and if it's okay, you can authorize. And then I have a confirmation message, and that's all. In just a click, I've done my swap. So that's the idea. Here, the feature is not available, but we have like a feature to transfer directly from CeFi to DeFi. So let me show you like the recent updates on the design. So that's what's going to be in the beta soon. So here is the home screen for the extension. So quite different. And then here I'm going to show you also the overview of the app. So it's going to be something like that. So just like you would expect for a DeFi dashboard, but here you have also Coinbase and and Binance. And here, same, we show the assets, but we also show you services here. So yeah, that's about like having the same experience. So let me go back a bit on the slides. So yeah, here to continue a bit. So what sets us apart from the competition? So here, as you can see, all the competitors, like from what we've seen, they're all focusing like either on CeFi or DeFi. And here, Blockfolio at the time, they were only focusing on CeFi, also same for Delta. And then like for Zapper or DBank, they're only focusing on DeFi. And then there's like few products doing CeFi and DeFi at the same time. And for example, Coinstat or iBot. But what's like on those tools, it's going to be like centralized. For example, on Coinstat, you need to create an account, put an email, put a password, and then give up your API keys. So that's really something we don't want. And same for iBot, you need to give up the API keys, and the API keys like are sent to their servers so they can fetch all your data. So for us, we can respond to all those specificities because we created like a second product just to track and manage your CeFi assets in a non-custodial way. So that's how we are able to do everything. And then to talk a bit about the team. So here we all from French engineering schools, so all studying computer science and networks. And we also have two more people. Those are like the co-founders, and then we have like a senior and a junior in the team. And we like the team also won like many hackathons. Like I can say the Graph hackathons last year, Starknet, Near, and just recently we won some bounties in the ETH Lisbon. So we made like a 2FA for MetaMask, and we won the bounty of MetaMask and of Gnosis Safe. And then here don't hesitate to check our social media, follow us on Twitter, join our Discord, and also we are launching our beta in like about 2 or 3 weeks. So on the website you'll be able to register for the beta. So here, let me show you a bit. Here we have our two products. You can click here or you can click here, and it's gonna redirect you to like a Google form, and then you can put all the information to be whitelisted for the beta. So yeah, in terms of roadmap, as I said, there's the beta soon. And like in Q1, we plan to launch the public beta, and then in Q2, we want to do the full public launch with like a lot of marketing around. So yeah, that's kind of it. And just to say a few words about our investors. So right now we are almost closing our pre-seed. It's finishing like in last of this month. And our biggest investors is GSR, the big market maker. And then we have like awesome business angels, like crypto founders of Ledger, of Sysmo, of Anchor Protocol. We have some influencers, and many really hands-on business angels. So yeah, I think I'm done. And just to say some incentive for the DoraHacks community. So right now we are focusing on building really the best product. We really feel your pain because those products are also like made for us as a user. So the whole project is from like a user perspective. And yeah, right now we are focusing on building those products. And so no token for the moment, but probably later. And we also have some like Genesis NFTs with like that's going to be able to save you some fees and give you like exclusive perks on the platform. So yeah, that's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pierre, for the amazing intro. So yeah, like Pierre mentioned, including CEDE Labs and many other protocols, there are amazing perks designed for the Dora community. So I think CEDE Labs is across like all the new startups I run across this year is one of the most product-driven and down-to-earth team that are really working on this product since I think July, since we met them. And congratulations on the progress of the race. Happy to become part of it from the Dora side. Yeah, and I just like have one last question before we go, which is, can you also introduce a little bit more on the roadmap, milestone side? What are some of the based on the grant process, what are some of the key milestones for you in the near future?
Exactly. So right now, our key milestone is to be able to recruit, to build the best team. So right now, we just recruited a front developer, but then we need also a full stack and a backend. So that's one of our key milestones to be able to build this team. And then in Q1, we need to get like it's really important for like a user-facing product to get all those marketing. So we need to achieve this marketing campaign. For the moment, we are focusing on France, but we need also to go like abroad. So that's one of our main goals, to do this marketing campaign worldwide. And then we need also like some security audits. So that's really important for us, especially for the extension where the security is key to be able to store those API keys and also to store it on the hardware solution. So those are our key milestones, and also like we have many partnerships going on, whether it is with tax reports, it is with some analytics tools, with some other gateways. So that's really key for us. We are also preparing some integration to some wallet portals. So can't say much now, but yeah, some partnerships, marketing, and hiring.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. One thing that I think the community might be concerned about is how safe is CEDE Lab integration, because its integration is a extension of browsers. There's a version of that, and we know there are a lot of like phishing or kind of other kind of attacks towards extension wallets like MetaMask. I would say CEDE Labs solution is at least as safe as MetaMask,
Exactly.
and with integration with Ledger and other, I believe, co-wallet solutions, it will be actually safer than we imagine it to be. So I want to thank you, Pierre, for joining us today. If you guys really like a next infrastructure or wallet solution that have a really smart improvement on existing infrastructure, where you can manage your CeFi and DeFi portfolio at the same time and trade at the same time, you should really follow CEDE Lab on their progress. Thank you, Pierre, for joining us.
Thank you a lot for the invitation. See you.
Yeah, see ya. So yeah, I believe last but not least is a friend at feed.xyz. It's a quite interesting protocol. I want to welcome Justin and Jared to introduce Feed to us. Hi, Justin and Jared.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear perfectly.
Beautiful. Okay, that's much better than we were having a little bit of issue with that before. So yeah, just thanks so much for having us out. I wanted to share a video before, but I don't think the internet connection across the Great Firewall is going to allow for that today, and sharing my screen. And yeah, it's an honor to be here along with such awesome projects. And I'll get right into sharing my screen then. Let me know if you can see this. Okay. All right. So feeds.xyz. So what we are is a decentralized creative economy that's trying to reclaim the power and control over information. So one of the things that we've seen,
but we're not seeing, I think, the presentation on the screen so far.
You can't see it?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me share the whole screen then.
Yeah, it works. It works.
Okay, it was just lagging. Sorry, I closed it. Just one sec. Let me pull it back. So yeah, I don't want to waste too much time. So basically feeds.xyz, while I'm waiting for this to pull back up, is a decentralized creative economy. It's a platform that's going to allow you to access the Web 2 and Web 3 content in a single browser base, and to be able to manage the data inside it. Let me know if you can see this now. Share screen. Full screen. Can you see it?
Yep, we can see your screen now. Yeah.
Perfect. There we go. All right. So we see a huge problem right now. Our team kind of came together discussing one of the biggest issues we're facing, which is surveillance capitalism. One of the biggest separations between Web 2 and Web 3 is the fact that almost everything is transparent and open on Web 3. And a lot of people are becoming quite comfortable with sharing their data to the most invasive levels right now. But in reality, it's creating this whole economy of attention where people are becoming a product that are being resold to advertisers. So the internet, we don't see the internet as free as it used to be. I think that's why we're all kind of interested in decentralization and blockchain technology. Our access and points of entry into it have been monopolized. Information is becoming increasingly biased. Censorship is spreading. We're not in control anymore. It's large companies that dictate these to us, our big centralized groups and economies and governments, and our opinions are becoming more radicalized because of this. And if we don't really own our information, then we don't really own the benefits from it, and we end up becoming the product as well that's being sold. So our privacy isn't protected, we're constantly being monitored, and other people are selling off our data to the highest bidder. So one of the things that we see in the creative economy that are being affected by this are creators don't have control over their information. They invest a lot of time and get a little compensation, and they often can get kicked off platforms and lose all of their ability or get demonetized quite easily. So they're not in control at all. Consumers on the other side are being constantly, we're always online, but for all the time we spend on there, also helping with sharing and moving people around. What we get in return is we get tracked and we get less privacy. It's very invasive, and we get almost no value back aside from free content as long as it comes with ads. And advertisers, as a marketer, I can tell you advertisers are also very stressed because the costs are getting higher to advertise. It's more competitive. It's harder to get exposure now in this new kind of TikTok economy period, and companies are at the mercy of products that are platforms that are running advertisements at us. So how do we see a solution to this? So decentralization and blockchain technology gives us access to information. Our own autonomy and deciding what to do with this information can give us control of our data back. Encryption can reintroduce higher security levels and privacy. And finally, because we take control back of it, we can end up with a fair compensation structure that rewards all members of this system for what they're contributing. And the way that we're doing this, we're trying to build an entirely new platform. It's going to be a very basic platform at the beginning, mostly around article content, very similar to Medium. But we're going to build this out as a search browser for Web 2 and Web 3.0 content that can build APIs to let trackers hook into it. But the way we're going to handle this data is we're going to make it so that all of the data we collect about you is being processed on your machine, encrypted, and then pushed in instances and records to the blockchain. Now we're going to use a transparent way to do this where people are able to access this information only if they've been permitted by you, and you get compensated back for that. So if people are actually owning their data, and then these data aggregates are not just going around and tracking us for free, they have to actually pay us and compensate us a nominal fee, but something back for it. More importantly, you have control over being able to be anonymous while still providing your data and getting the experience of Web 2.0's systems like Facebook and Google and search engine algorithms without having to be completely productized. We believe this is going to help us create more free speech by letting people own their own content, but also allowing people to control what they're viewing and seeing through high filtration. So if there's something that you don't want to see or discussions or certain words, you can flag those out and pull them out of the system. So instead of canceling people for saying what they think, you're able to control what you decide to consume. And finally, the sharing economy that we're building is going to allow us to reward both readers and users and people sharing, as well as content creators, and help give advertisers a better shake at being able to contact and work with these people in a distributed system. So we think that this kind of taking control goes across 4 real characteristics. With our encrypted browsing history and activity records, you can take control of your data and privacy back. You decide what's shared and why and to who. Your private browsing creates no records on our platform, so we never have control of it. So you can even decide what anything that we're delivering for ads is getting seen to you. All of it is at your disposal, in your control. When you have control over what you see, we have intelligent search algorithms for tracking both Web 2 and Web 3, and then highly customized filtering options, like I said. Finally, you can have control. Creators can finally have control over what they create in decentralized content storage across ARWeave and other platforms. We're going to be able to embed this content forever online so that people can't pull it down as easily, and then drag and drop inline CSS systems in our backends and not just have article content, but to essentially make these kind of standalone single page websites that can be embedded in there with inline CSS and rendered back out. And then you can create links to other pages of pieces of content you've created, basically giving an entire website experience all in a decentralized manner. So this open environment where creatives own their work is really one of the pillars of this, because otherwise, this is what they've always said, people creating their own blogs on their own servers and websites are basically the end result, because at the end of the day, anything could happen where if the company you're building your content on collapses, then you have to rebuild again from the ground up. Or if you get demonetized or canceled, you don't really have control over the assets and time you're investing. And it's as easy to transfer control if you build a web page or different types of dApps and content throughout it. It's easy to transfer control of these pages and to verify them simply as easy as it is to transfer an NFT. So you could even build online businesses and resell them again. Then finally, you get compensated for browsing, sharing, subscribing, sharing your data, creating content. Every one of the different people involved in this matrix actually gets compensated with different rewards structured with our tokens. And we'll have a sponsorship marketplace to make sure that brands can reach out, search based on different interests or key opinion areas that content creators have, and are then able to approach them directly without needing middlemen for arranging brand sponsorships and creating content in line with them as well. So how do we do this? It's going to depend heavily on zero-proof knowledge. So users' actions are encrypted across on their device, and then as these are put online, there are pieces of code that are easy to see in this transaction that give you the ability to prove that an advertiser or another agent that's viewing this is able to access the information inside it. You set those rules and regulations as a default, and you can also do it as single instances when you log in as well. So this allows us to aggregate user history and actions and build profiles, but then allows you to become the owner of that profile so that you're licensing it back out for people to market to you. And if you don't want to, or you want to turn it off, it's easy to revoke. So all of these data aggregators are going to be helping to pay through this type of market, nominal fees and reward tokens, but still something. And more importantly, it's having the control. So now, how does the token structure look? We're going to have a governance token and a utility token. And in between these, basically different actions you take, you link them to your social media accounts. So we know which accounts are based off of those, should you choose so, if you want to earn the rewards. And then we're able to track and to crawl your social media posts to know if you're sharing links. If those links get click-throughs and have embedded angles, then you get rewarded when people come through them. But the people that are on the platform are the ones that we're able to verify if they're real users, if they've used it before. So helping onboard onto the platform also gives you rewards. And at the end of the day, governance token is what's used by advertisers to pay for the advertising placements. So that's what people are getting rewarded for on the creator side. And also they need utility tokens at times to do this. So they can stake the governance token, earn the utility tokens. Utility tokens are also earned by readers for their interactions, and they can be traded back as rewards for different types of content or directly traded on a market. And advertisers need both of these tokens to be able to place advertisements and pay for different services. So our team, a little bit of background about our team. It's built up of about a dozen people already that have had, been in blockchain from the early stages or has worked in very high level industries. Myself, I worked for a Fortune 500 company before this, and we just have a lot of experience building even layer one blockchain protocols, token economics, and a whole kind of background from data science onward. So our desired funding, we're targeting about 50K for this. So we'd really appreciate if you guys vote for us. We've been funding the project out of pocket so far, and we're currently in our first round of seed capital raising, but we wanted to give ourselves a real fighting chance and have a strong foot to negotiate from. So we've been building out our demo platform, and these funds will help us refine the front end developments, add in the different tools for content creators to use these drag and drop filters and different JavaScript actions that can be loaded inside it. And then finally, to be able to release that type of version later in the early half of next year. So when we present these to our investors, we feel that we're going to have a nice, strong place to negotiate. As well, we want to start growing the community around this and upping our development costs by creating our token. We don't want to do our token as a fundraising side until after we raise capital and finish the entire product, but we do want to be able to give people early access, just like you guys following this right now. So anyone that votes for us, really the whole community inside DoraHacks, if we become one of the people that's selected for this grant, we're going to pass along a free airdropped NFT pass, which is used as a membership credential, which gives you access to be able to create content on the platform and also have these type of rewards for using, for allowing data to be shared and pushed off for advertisers to send things to you as well. And then you'll have early beta testing access. For the full product with the blockchain side, we're looking at probably Q3, Q4 of next year. And once those tokens are online, we'll airdrop a number of rewards that can be used inside the platform as well, helping you get subscriptions to elevated content. And we already have a pretty high number. I think we have more than 60, 70 really influential blockchain influencers from Twitter that are already very excited about this platform. So we're going to have content ready to go by the time we launch. if you guys want to take a screenshot or just check us out at feed.xyz, feel free to on Twitter. And I just wanted to take a quick second before we did this. Let me just change my screen to show you the demo we've already got outlined to you now. So 1 sec. Let me know if you can see this. Can you see the screen? It's still loading, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's loading. So while it's loading, a question from me
Sure.
is that do you see any competitors in this space?
Well, there's a few different competitors that are working on doing different types of aggregate ad marketing or ad markets. So trying to allow people to have greater privacy when sharing highly sensitive information. AdX is one company that's doing that. So they're trying to create a marketplace for people to be able to deliver ads to you based off of things like medical records that are highly sensitive so that you can trust them to publish incredibly sensitive levels of information. And then without knowing who you are, suppose you have some sort of existing condition or you're dealing with a mental illness and there's different drugs or things that could help that, medical advertisers would be able to push that to you without the intermediary or even the medical advertisers themselves being able to see who has that condition. So some things like that, other types of rather sensitive information, like you could corroborate or prove your income levels so that people, when they do know they're spending ads to deliver things to your actual employment without actually providing that to the advertisers. So there's a few people doing that, but as a full stack browser solution that's able to both generate information and data and aggregate that and reward people for it, we're the first people to really try and attempt this. There's a few other companies that are building, I think, Web 5, Jack Dorsey was talking about a little while back, and I think they're trying to build something in that direction, but they're looking to do it much more as an infrastructure part rather than focus on the content that's really driving things first.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So this is just a quick look of the layout right now. We still have a lot more to pull up, but as you can see, they'll be connecting your wallet, which verifies access to it. Technically, you can search it without even verifying a wallet. And once you're connected, you can still go into a private mode. There's a home. There's different share to earn areas that aren't currently rolled out yet. We're still in development for them. Filter by different keywords and see different contents, comments, things that are streaming from it, and click through them into larger articles as well. And then, of course, the search algorithm is going to be able to pull both Web3 and Web2 content from the different systems that are there and then display the different options for you to be able to search inside it. So it's a pretty ambitious goal, but we're looking to try and, undo what the last 20 years of the internet has been, particularly the last decade, and bring us back to kind of what people had their hopes set on for the internet and for data communications and collaborations in the 90s, which for any of you that were alive back then can remember it was a much more open and kind of optimistic time than knowing that people know absolutely everything about you. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Any other questions?
Not from me, but I guess one of the things that our community might see is that including feed, all of the actually most of the projects competing for the grant, our projects already had an MVP. So this is something we want to highlight, that we don't actually want to support teams that just have a presentation. We want to support hackers that are already hardworking. They're already working very hard on bettering their products. And we think it's a team that can ship products. This is why we recommend them to the community to support them together with us. So,
for sure. Well, I mean, I don't want to try and present that this isn't something that we're working on anyway. As I said in the other slide here, the main thing is to try and front load some of this, some of the production that we're doing for raising. We're already talking to capital and VCs right now, but we want to really select some of the best people in this industry for building out the zero proof knowledge architecture for it. And being able to handle latency is probably one of the hardest things we're overcoming. So the front end stuff is stuff that we're able to put out pretty easily, but until we raise big VC, we're not going to be able to contract and bring in the type of people that are going to have that impact on that layer of the tech. So building it all out, we can get to an MVP like a lot of these platforms for displaying, searching, finding the tech. But the real essence of what we want to produce, we want to have it released at the exact same point when people can have the entire experience, not just a portion of it. So we're building along with it anyway, regardless. But I appreciate the recognition that it's still very early stage. We've only kicked this off just a little bit before the summer.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Justin, for applying for Dora Grant DAO, and congratulations on joining the finalist panel. And
well, we certainly appreciate the being part of the selected people. It's an incredible system you guys have got going here, and it's a really interesting way to try and pull up people trying to make big differences and big leaps in this community.
Yeah, and
thank you very much.
Yeah. If you like feed.xyz or CEDE Lab or Prestare's presentation today, you know what to do is to actually go to first go to DAO, the DoraHacks.io. It is the staking portal where you can get VC Dora, voice credit Dora, so that you can support them. And that's also, I think, how you will be eligible to claim the perks provided by our amazing partners, including Prestare, CEDE Lab, and Feed. And if you really like their presentation today, make sure you go to DoraHacks.io/Dora/1. That's our voting portal. You can use your VC Dora to vote for the amazing teams. Yeah, so I'm actually quite familiar with the product that's being demoed today. Two of them are in DeFi space, or like one is in DeFi, one is in like wallet, is infrastructure, but also there's a really interesting protocol, feed.xyz, which really connects the reader, each individual in Web3, about our daily feeds of news, of knowledge, and I think it's a great tool. I've seen similar setup in Mandarin, and they have a lot of users. So there's that. Thank you all for joining the presentation today. I wish you good luck in getting Dora Grant DAO's grants eventually. And I believe all of the Dora's community will love to support you. So yeah. If you have any questions, you can actually go ask more on our community forum. There's community.dorahacks.io is our community forum. You can ask some questions under the proposal that like the 3 team proposed. So there's that. Thank you all for joining us today, guys. And I wish you really good luck, and very happy to have this opportunity to support you in the early stage of your product growth. Thank you, team. Have a great one, guys.
Yeah. Thank you a lot. Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.